Welcome to Duality Gamecast, sponsored by Gladiator Games. Today's episode, Roll for the Galaxy.
Welcome to Duality Gamecast. I'm Matt.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm William. Today we're looking at Roll for the Galaxy from Rio Grande Games. A turn for Roll for the Galaxy is broken up into 5 phases. The first one being Explore. This phase allows you to draw more tiles that you can build potentially in the future, or to get money to buy dice back from your citizenry. Develop allows you to build and develop developments. Settle allows you to build settlements, the planets in the game. Produce allows you to put goods on those planets that you can later use the ship phase to ship them out for victory points and profit. So let's see what everybody here did. Now, the dice you roll each go into their corresponding columns. However, the one dice you get to pick to put up at the top here, and that's going to activate the phase. So we can see this person activated the Explore phase, this person activated the Settle phase, and this person activated the Ship phase. Those are the only phases they're going to activate this turn. So even though this character here has cards in the, or dice in the development column, they're not going to activate this round. Let's see how a turn works. The phases activate in order, starting with the Explore phase. So let's look. Only one player here has Explore dice, so they can activate them one at a time in an order. This one, even though it doesn't have the Explore icon, was the one used to activate this phase, so it also counts as an Explore dice. On an Explore turn, you can choose to discard tiles from your player board here and draw one more tile than that and then place them down. So in that way, you can choose to discard none and just draw one extra card. So the player's going to do that first. We'll dig in the bag here, pull out a tile at random, and each tile has either a development or a settlement side. They're going to look at it, figure out which one they want, and then that tile gets placed underneath the tile of that stack. So they have to purchase the ones in front of it in order to develop that one later. So let's continue on the development phase. These players both have development dice, but there's no development phase active this turn, so those dice are just going to go back in their cups. Then we move on to the Settle phase. Let's see here. One player has Settle dice, they go on the settlement. If that's enough to beat its number here of 2, settlement goes into play and you take its action. This one says add a red dice to your cup. Awesome. The dice you use to settle go into your citizenry to be purchased back later. Move on to the Produce phase. No one activated the Produce phase, so this person's dice just goes back in their cup. If the phase was active, they would have been able to place that dice on a colored settlement they had to be later on shipped out for profit. Finally, we have the Ship phase. Again, this character is the only one that has it, so they'll use this rocket to ship this good out. They can either ship it out for money or victory points. Color combinations can affect that, so it's good to keep track when you're playing the game. Finally, after all the phases are done, players look to see how much money they have and decide what dice they want to buy back into the citizenry. This player looks like they have 5, so they'll spend 5 of their dollars to buy back 5 dice. Goes back in their cup. This player only had 1, so they'll spend their 1 dice, goes back in their cup. This player is the same way. 1 thing goes back in their cup. You always end up back at $1 after spinning, so everybody resets to 1 if you're under. Play continues like this until there's a victor, in which case, good for them. So, Roll for the Galaxy, the new dice iteration of Race for the Galaxy, the sci-fi civ building game. William, what do you think about how this game plays?
Familiar. I would say that this is, from a dice game, from a card game, this is the most direct translation I've ever seen. It feels like playing Race for the Galaxy. They just replaced the card drawing with a dice mechanic. I like the fact that there's the hidden roll stuff seems a little, or the hidden phase selection seems a little bit more natural. There was 2 hands in Race for the Galaxy. You had a continuously switch between. This one's all behind your shield, and boom, this is what's happening, and it just tends to feel a little bit smoother. It has the same thing that Race for the Galaxy had, though, where there's a lot of solitaire. You really don't talk to anybody, except when you're like, okay, what phases are we doing? All right, back down to my board. What's happening? Back down to my board. And occasionally you look over like, oh, he's at 8. Okay, he still has a couple rounds up before we have to worry about that, or the victory point thing's getting total, or low. So it has, to me, it has all the same positives and negatives that Race for the Galaxy had. It just has, if you're into dice, if you want that little more tactile feel, it has that awesome aspect to it. Dylan, what do you think about art and components?
The components themselves are, great. I mean, they're just normal tiles like you've seen in many other games. But the art on these tiles is nothing short of epic. Like, you can see that they do a good job of telling you that which kind of tile is more important than the other, pretty much. But yeah, the art there is fine, and then the icons on the dice are clear and pretty good. And these little cups are fine. They're normal plastic little cups to hold your dice when you shake them. And the art is great. The icons are just they do a good job. They're clear and simple. And these cups are great too. And yeah, art components on this front, they do pretty well in this game.
I have one beef with the iconography. There is an action in this game that everyone can take where you basically take a die symbol that isn't what you want and you spin it by putting it at the top of your little selection board to move one that doesn't match an area to that area. So you got a rocket ship and you really want an explorer, you can sack a die to move that ship to the explorer action row. Great, fine mechanic, but the iconography shows two little dice, curly Q symbol to another die with question marks. In any other game, to me, that would cost you 2 dice to make a die. And I don't know why, but I just can't get my head around it in this game because it's not what's happening. You're using 1 die to move another die. That's a little beef, I know, but I messed it up like 12 times, so it's stuck in my head.
Well, it did the same thing, because in Race for the Galaxy, there's iconography all over the cards, and then some really difficult stuff they explained. I know we were having this conversation about it. On this one, at least every card, every tile, completely explains what iconography means, so you don't need to use it. However, though, like you're saying, some of them can be a little misleading, and at first glance, it makes you think they work differently than they do, and you have to go back and read the text, which makes me go, why do they even have the icons to start with? Should just have the rules written on there and been done.
Yeah. And the artwork, obviously, I think they use multiple artists for this game.
I think it's all the same as the Race for the Galaxy art.
Is it the same art?
Most of it is direct from the cards.
Well, I guess that's good or bad, depending on how you look at it. There's a lot of art, though, because there's a lot of tiles in the game. And I would say that the more epic space opera scenes on the tiles look great. But then there are some close-ups of people and aliens that look really kind of crude and not so great. So there's not a real balance there. But I think part of that's because they probably had to use a lot of artists to get all this art cranked out. Like you said, I love the iconography in the game, other than my one little problem. The dice iconography is all great. I love rolling dice. And it's kind of a cute little thing. The stackable dice cups that you get are basically look like they're the back of like a rocket engine or something. Yeah. So that's a cool little theme thing they did. The tiles are all pretty good weight. I mean, the playboards are kind of thin, but the actual build tiles are nice and thick. And I did love that they explain on the cards, like you said, and have the iconography. So once you play this game a while, you can just glance at the icons and know what you're talking about. But if you're new, or if it's a tile you've never got to play with before, the rules are all right there, which is a big leap from Race for the Galaxy. So the reconceptualization of classic tabletop games into dice versions has been a pretty popular trend the last couple of years. And let me tell you, I've been skeptical at times, but this is a good one. I'm not a big Race for the Galaxy fan. I think it's too independent. You can have 4 people at the table, and it's like they're all playing 4 different games. This game is still kind of like that, but it's moving along. The pace just feels so much better that I can completely forgive that relative lack of interaction. This is one that I'll be happy to play if it's brought to the table, which I would never have said about Race for the Galaxy. So they really didn't just reimagine an old game, they improved it, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with a love it.
I said that, the art was nothing short of epic, and the iconography was great, But sadly, that and the gameplay just don't get along. This game is boring. All right, it is stone cold Monday, boring. Okay, it just drags on and on and on. The gameplay is just it's everything you've seen before. All right, it's just a dice game. You know, there's nothing really. I know it's based off of Race for the Galaxy, I guess, and I don't know. It's just boring. It doesn't. The gameplay just doesn't join the art at all. I found it very boring, and it dragged on for too long, and it just stayed. I'm gonna give it a pass.
All right, I'm gonna go with 11 on this one. To me, the difference between Roll for the Galaxy and Race for the Galaxy is dice. I feel like they're both very similar, and I think if you like one, you're probably gonna like the other one. I would say they both replace and are interchangeable. So if you like one, you're looking for, let's say you have Race for the Galaxy, you love playing it, but you just want to mix it up a little bit, I think Roll for the Galaxy would be a great replacement for it. Same time, if you've been looking at Race for the Galaxy and you're thinking, that looks like it might be fun, but I like the dice and the noisiness a little bit more, I think this might be the way to go. So, love it for me. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Hey guys, I just want to know, what's your favorite alternative dice game? Leave it in the comments below. Click on me to subscribe. Thanks to all these people for helping out. Thank you for all these people. You're...